Good evening. Going to call the meeting of the Coventry Redevelopment Agency to order, 5:17 PM. Attendance by the clerk.
Member Brennan?
Here.
Vice Chairman Chula?
Here.
Chairman Lawson?
Present. The emergency evacuation plan for this evening, exits at the rear of the room. Left one goes out to the parking lot, right one out into the main corridor. And entertain a motion for the minutes of our May 28th meeting.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor, clerk, take a roll.
Member Brennan?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Chula?
Yes.
Chairman Lawson?
Present.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Just for informational purposes for the members, Caitlin Grenier has resigned from the committee agency. Town clerk has posted for that vacancy. Public comment on docketed items. Is there any public comment on docketed items tonight? We're going to go with the recommendation of the 4 minutes on public comments. Is there anybody in the public that wants to have a comment on docketed items? Cody, is there anybody on is there anybody on Zoom that wishes to make a comment on docketed items? Raise your hand. Stacy?
Hi there, can you hear me? This is
Yes.
Stacy Nichols, 159 Lewis Farm Road. I would just ask people also to maybe adjust their mics. Sometimes it's very hard to hear participating over Zoom. I just have a few questions. I know GZA is presenting tonight. I actually wanted to ask these last time, but I missed the comment period. I was just wondering how long GZA has been working on this project. I know last time there was a presentation they had found using the tax assessor's database, the public access points. Those were actually all brought to town council in March, and President Lima had offered to talk to the committee about putting signage on the access points. It sounds like maybe there's a disconnect and an opportunity for better communication between the committee and town council. So I'm just, especially because we're paying GZA, I'm assuming an hourly wage for their work. And again, people found all of these access points in about an hour using the tax assessor's database. So just wondering where we are on that. I know at the last meeting, there was a vote on the website name, and plans to have a tour of the access points. So wondering where that is, and also just because it was in the news this morning that there were unfortunately 2 drownings at both in Smithfield and in Lincoln on town ponds. So knowing that if we are aware of these access points, that maybe we should be posting swim at your own risk signs. I mean, it's horrible that this happened to these 2 individuals. From the sound of at least one of them, they were swimming in an area that was marked not like as a swim at your own risk. It was not a guarded area. So I'm just worried about the liability of the town. I know Facebook is on fire with residents on the pond saying that there is access. I also think, this town has enough legal issues right now. So that's just a consideration. And again, I know there's money in a fund, and also that Sweet Liberty Farm had offered to donate signage, even if it's just swim at your own risk type thing. I think it's something for us to consider and for GZA to maybe just move a little faster on. And that's all I have to say. And I really appreciate everyone's efforts in this. I know you're all taking time away from other things you could be doing.
Thank you, Stacy. I'll take your questions backwards in the order that you presented them. So as far as the drownings, some very unfortunate circumstances there. The signage, the risk, that is beyond the scope of the redevelopment agency. So I'd refer you to the town hall on that one. As far as the progress report, I think you'll be very pleased tonight. GZA is working on the presentation on both the website and a communication document on the progress that has been made so far. So if you stay on, you get to see that live. So again, thank you for that. You'll get to see that all in the GZA presentation tonight. We made pretty good significant progress, and they're going to give us all an update on all of the items that you just talked about relevant to the GZA part. So thank
Okay,
you.
great. So I just want to confirm, you're saying that town council is in charge of signage because President Lima was very clear that RDA was in charge of signage on the pond.
So
And
I
in
didn't
fact,
say
she
town
said
council.
last
I
night-
said I would refer you to the town hall. I am not 100% sure on who is responsible for signage. I would say DPW, Parks and Rec, one of those, but I'm not 100% sure. It is not the redevelopment agency.
Okay, well, I'm letting you know that last night President Lima said that the RDA was in charge of that. So this is
Signage?
where and I'm not blaming you because I understand that, you know, this is a semi-new committee. Everyone's figuring out who's to do what. I think you would agree it is a serious risk. And I really don't want it to get to the point where something tragic happens. And then all of a sudden the town is trying to scramble to do what they should have done in the first place. So if you're saying that town council, you know, essentially they are the ones providing direction to the town manager. So if they are in fact in charge of this, I will just bring it back to them because the last I followed up with the town manager, he still wasn't aware of where the access points were. I'm not sure if that information has been shared with them. So thank you.
I don't know that. And again, I'm not referring it to the town council. I said, I don't know which agency is responsible for signage in the town. But somebody in the town hall would be able to do that. Not the town council, somebody in the town department.
Okay, so basically it's no one's job. So I'm just letting you know that this has been brought up to both you and to town council now. So, I mean, people can say what they want. I honestly genuinely care that no one gets hit by a motorboat or drowns in a pond because they just thought they could access it there. And so, you know, I feel like I've tried my best here.
The town manager's here. Can we ask you, do you know who is responsible for signage at ponds and lakes? Okay, so for those who can't hear, he's saying that there's signage at Tioga Lake about that. So does that fall under the Department of Public Works or does that fall under? Okay, so it does in fact fall under the Department of Public Works and Parks and Rec. So Dan, based on Stacy's feedback, could we float a question to those departments to see if they have any plans to post signs anywhere else in town?
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Thank you again, Stacy. Cody, you got anybody else on Zoom that wants to speak? All right, close public comment at this time. Next is appointment of a new agency member. Vincent is here. We're going to have the town clerk swear you in as a member, so if you could stand up. Congratulations. Thank you. Welcome. The next, I'm going to ask a motion to, on new business, to remove the agenda item from Representative Tom Noray.
I'll make a motion. I'll make that motion.
Second it.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, take the roll.
Member Pillar?
Agree.
Member Brennan?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Shula?
Yes.
Chairman Larson?
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Thank you. Cody, could you let GZA in for their presentation? Both. They're both on. Hi, Sarah, can you hear us?
Hello, yes. Can you hear me?
Hearing you loud and clear, thank you. Are you guys ready to present?
Yes.
Good deal. Kevin, thank you. All righty, you're on.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
And let me, Sarah, I'm going to let you walk through this. I don't know if you had a specific agenda, but I think we are going to tour the website, talk about the process. I wanted to spend a second to directly discuss Ms. Nichols' concerns. We do understand that both the community, the town, the CRA wants this process to move forward as quickly as possible. We also understand how easy it is to simply map existing access points. There's only a handful of them. I acknowledge that. It did not take us a lot of hours. Having said that, to sort of establish the study area and what's already being done, you kind of have to do that as a process. We were asked to do that prior to the last meeting. There are a bunch of additional sort of preliminary investigations relating to wetlands, environmental conditions, bathymetry, access points, and that sort of thing to be able to establish the boundary for the project and to also set up the sort of community interface that we're doing here. But, I want to acknowledge that we have not spent a great deal of time defining and identifying existing access points. It's simply a small part of this process and one that's important to acknowledge. So we're also pleased to hear, or not pleased, horrified to hear about the incidents, but it's important that we hear the latest shared information and sensitivity for elements like that related to safety, which we are absolutely taking into account in this process. So having said that, Sarah, why don't you kind of give an overview and tour where we're at?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. And I couldn't agree more, Kevin. So this is the draft website, which we would like to say would be live July 1st. There are a few, minor tweaks that we need to make to this. So please keep that in mind. But high level, we would like to show, the progress, what's going to be on the website in terms of content. So this is our about page. As you can see, we would like this to be interactive. We would like this to be as easy to use as possible. There is a get in touch with us, which also, when this website goes live, we really ask that everybody who wants to be involved, any stakeholders, any organizations, please fill out this form. We really want to hear from you if you'd like to give us a specific message, but this will also allow us to put you on a sign-up sheet so you can be aware of upcoming meetings and progress. So it's very important that once this goes live on July 1st, that you please sign up so we can communicate with you directly, and we really want to hear from you. We also have our timeline. We will be updating this as the process goes on with this project. We have an events page. This is going to show all the public events that are coming up. As you can see, we have the progress meetings. We anticipate a first community workshop in August, though this is still being decided as we need to secure a location for this public meeting, but again, anticipated in August. Also on our website, we're going to have various maps. As Kevin had mentioned, there are environmental constraints. There are additional maps that we are considering beyond just the redevelopment boundary. And what we had presented at our last meeting, this is the map that we will be posting on the website. And this does show access points and very much tied to, as Stacy had mentioned, those parcels, what had already been done, existing knowledge with that. And again, we will have a public input page. This is going to list all the different workshops, hearings, meetings that are coming up to keep everyone informed of where we are in this process. And again, I can't stress more, please, please, when this goes live July 1st, you can go right, scroll down right at the, about page, or you can click contacts at the bottom, and this is where you can get in touch with us. So we're thrilled to launch this. So please keep an eye out on the town's website on July 1st for this.
Oh, also, Sarah, note the handouts that can be distributed and downloaded to, so under about.
Yes,
at the
under
bottom.
about, you will, yes, you will also see the handout I'm about to present. You can get this handout directly by clicking on this link at the bottom. And this is what I will show. This is our one pager that we had discussed at the last meeting. We have sent it to the RDA members and we're just waiting on final approval, but this lists the access points. This lists what a redevelopment area plan is. This is a great information tool. It gives you, additional resources. This is the link to the website. We will also have a link directly to the map. And this is where we will also have next steps. And again, you can download this PDF directly on our website that we will be launching on July 1st.
And then Sarah, do you want me to go over the general timeline to the next
Sure.
CRA meeting? So
Yes, I can stop sharing my screen.
yeah, we had the process here to get to the first community meeting. We are going to have some more coordination with the CRA, particularly Chris and Harry, but other members as well, over the next 2 weeks on identifying stakeholders. So when this site goes live on July 1st, please look for it. And Sarah, if you would just, again, tell people the website URL.
Yes, it's johnsonspondra.com. And Harry will let everyone know where on the town's website that will be located.
We're going to be identifying stakeholders, both administrative stakeholders in the town, special interest groups related to the pond. We're going to be discussing one-on-one or in work groups with them. We'll be finalizing a very preliminary area map for discussion. And actually it's johnsonspondrp.org. And then the next CRA meeting, which is basically about a month from now, we'll be presenting that boundary to the public, initial feedback that we've gotten that will be able to go live for people to view. And then we'll be scheduling that public meeting coming up, in the period of August, where people will have some advance notice. We'll also have additional maps, additional data collected that will describe sort of constraints, rationale for the redevelopment area, approaches, information such as water depths, hazard areas, natural resource constraints, residential access concerns, and these sorts of things to be able to inform that meeting. And the idea after that community meeting, we're trying to consolidate a final map, take that back to a public hearing forum, confirm that boundary, and get that out of the way so people have input on the area that we're talking about. Then after that, we actually go into the plan very quickly, sort of late summer, early into the fall, to discuss the components, recreational input, concerns as was expressed by Ms. Nichols about safety. And, obviously a lot of the allied issues here, you provide more access, you need to protect residents, you provide more access, you need to assure, public safety and potential policing of the pond, restrictions on use, hourly operations, maintenance, all of this stuff. So we'll discuss all of the pushes and pulls at that time. And that's generally the process that we're going through. So again, I understand it's slow, but we would sort of, deliberate in terms of getting our ducks in a row, but things will start to move very quickly between this meeting and the next meeting. And then, by the end of August, we will have had our public meeting and we'll be ready to go into plan. And we're on target with the schedule. And in the meantime, please put your comments on the website, get listed, be involved. Please give us your input. We'll be happy to discuss one-on-one. We're here for the town to address any of your concerns and comments and try to be a facilitator. We're not taking sides in anybody's specific interests. We're interested in developing, plan that as best as possible synthesizes everybody's concerns. Obviously, that is a difficult thing. So we want this to be collaborative, collegial, and solicit as much, involvement as possible and be respectful of one another and the town's interests and the community at large. So any
Awesome work.
questions for the agency?
First off, comment is awesome work. It's great to see some light at the end of a tunnel on our progress here. Great with all the documents, developing the website. Just a question for Cody back there. Are you all set with them with the URL for that to go to this website when it goes live? Do you need anything from GZA?
I don't need anything besides the link. I mean, it's no work on my end to put a link up on the website. I might need some clarity on exactly how you guys want to advertise it before the link goes up and exactly where you want it posted on the website. I'm also going to be away on the 1st, and that week I should still have access to internet and stuff and email. But yeah, if anything needs to go up that day, just let me know beforehand so I can prepare.
Perfect. Sarah, you got that one? That Cody will be away, so we just got to make sure we coordinate prior to that for him.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Questions from the RDA group for GZA?
No, I'll just add that this is great work, and this document that shows current access points, I think, will be very helpful for everybody in town, because now it's very clear of what is available and where. So thank you.
Perfect. Thanks so much for your work today. Appreciate it, and thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you all.
Thank
Take
you so
care.
much.
Stay cool.
Stephen, do we need to take a vote on the document to accept this as the communication piece?
You can if you want to make it part of the record.
Let's do this. Entertain a motion to accept this document.
Second the motion.
Need a first.
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a first and a second? Any discussion on the document? Clerk, can you take the roll?
Member Pillar,
Yes.
Member Brennan,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Chula,
Yes.
Chairman Larson.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Next item, Angel Law.
This was put on for the letter of engagement.
Is there any action item that we need to take at this point?
You would need to vote to enter into the agreement or not.
So has everybody had time, I guess, this came out in the last meeting, you had time to read it? I know any of you haven't, but. Well, a motion to accept that?
Make the motion to accept the agreement. Thank you.
Second.
Discussion? In favor? Clerk, take the roll.
Member Pillar,
Yes.
Member Brennan,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Chula,
Yes.
Chairman Larson.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Motion to go in executive session?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
That? Oh, I got to vote. Point five. Motion to go into executive session pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-4 and Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-5A for the discussion, consideration related to acquisition, lease of real property for the public purposes or of the disposition of publicly held property wherein advanced public information would be detrimental to the interest of the public and any possible action related thereto.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Take the roll.
Member Pillar,
Yes.
Member Brennan,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Schuler,
Yes.
Chairman Larson,
Yes.
on the affirmative, Zan, the negative, motion passes.
Good, Cody? Alrighty, we are back in the general session. We need to note that there were votes taken in the executive session very relevant to potential acquisition of land that is sealed to the public at this time until we move forward. And we have a motion to seal the minutes from executive session.
I'll make the motion to seal the minutes.
Second.
Discussion? Clerk, take the roll.
Member Pillar?
Yes.
Member Brennan?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Chula? Chairman Larson? Four in the affirmative, zero in the negative, motion passes.
I believe that's the end of our votes for this evening. We have just point of information that, Vinnie, you'll have to get and register with the Ethics Commission now. Yep, they already did that. Perfect. Look at that. Head of the game. The next meeting is July 30th, I believe, and at that time is our annual meeting. There'll be election of officers at that time as well. Anything else for the good of the committee? Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Member Pillar?
Yes.
Member Brennan?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Chula?
Yes.
Chairman Larson?
Yes.
Four in the affirmative, zero in the negative, motion passes.
Thank you, everybody.